Mr. Speaker, with respect, I disagree with what the Leader of the House just said. Mr. Speaker, the chair of the committee called a meeting late this morning for us to discuss the report. We discussed the report and agreed together on what should be the report. Mr. Speaker, the committee directed its clerk to do the needful. A draft was brought to me whilst I was in the office to go through to be sure that whatever we had discussed had been so captured. I detected some omissions and wrote on the report and told the transmitter that he should engage the chair so that it will be done. Mr. Speaker, I was called by our clerk that she is right here in the chamber and chairman has some disagreement, so she wants me in. Mr. Speaker, I came in waiting to meet with the chairman. They said he was at the robing room. I went there. Unfortunately, he had already been there and had gotten back to the chamber. Mr. Speaker, whilst I was still talking to the clerk, chairman hands me a report which has been signed by the clerk, the same clerk who was waiting for me for us to finish this thing, has been signed by her and the chairman. Mr. Speaker, I don't want a repeat of what happened some months to happen again. I have reached out to the acting clerk to Parliament. I've expressed my views on this matter again to him. I still want to give peace a chance. It is not, Mr. Speaker, it is not proper. Mr. Speaker, my colleagues are introducing a phrase that I want to adopt. Mr. Speaker, I would want to give dialogue a chance because, Mr. Speaker, when we dialogue and dialogue well, we'll get to a solution. What I agree, however, with the Leader of the House is that yes, members of the committee have expressed their principled position on the matter, but it is how that is to be expressed. If your side is satisfied with how your views have been captured, and this was a matter of discussion at the committee, then be fair to us also to have our views correctly captured. I do not think that this is a matter that we should come to the floor for cameras to witness we breaking shoulders over this matter. We don't need to. We don't need to. Mr. Speaker, the clerk was still engaging me. I am therefore at a loss how and why the chairman could transmit a signed report to the Leader of Government Business as if we are trying to frustrate the process. Mr. Speaker, far from that. Our job is not to frustrate or obstruct. Our job is to speak and make our position known. That is democracy. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to entreat my colleagues, however huge their majority strength may be. This is a House of Parliament. We have an outstanding matter. I have seen movements on the floor I pray that we would go by it so that we bring this thing to a closure. If we are done, it is not any difficult matter. They can lay their report. Once we are done, then we proceed. We have our views. You have your views. But Mr. Speaker, I will plead with you that kindly direct a further dialogue for us to close this matter. That's all, Mr. Speaker, I would want to submit.
Chairman of the committee.
Right, Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity to respond to issues raised by the minority leader and the ranking member of the appointment committee. Right, Honorable Speaker, this report has since been ready and a copy given to the minority leader. Then, in his own handwriting, he recommended what should be included in the report, which I have at hand. Based on that, a decision was not taken on the report. Mr. Speaker, it was integrated. And again, in his own handwriting, he indicated for the second time what should again be added. Mr. Speaker, I have his own handwritten document with me as evidence of what transpired. Mr. Speaker, after all has been taken into consideration, we had a meeting late this morning, and then we agreed on the reports. What the minority leader said was that, contrary to all the reports that I have read in this house, appointment report that I've read in this house, he is of the view that a preliminary comment should be indicated in the report. And if you look at the report, paragraph 4.0, it has captured the preliminary comment verbatim. Then he again indicated that from the preliminary comment, the clerk should indicate justification for the decision, stating that all minority members are opposed and voted against the nomination of the 7 judges. And Mr. Speaker, if you look at page 137 of the report, same had been done based on the meeting that we had this afternoon. Mr. Speaker, the recording from the meeting will indicate that, subject to what he wants to be captured, we have voted on the reports. The audio will bear me out. And everybody said yes. Then, Mr. Speaker, after the report was finalized and signed, and a copy given to him, contrary to his assertion that he has just been handed over the report just now, when he looked at the report, he is again asking what is not contained in his preliminary comments, as discussed at the committee level, be again added to the report. Mr. Speaker, I have a copy of the preliminary comments that he brought at the committee level. I can give out the preliminary comment and what he's asking to be added, which has never occurred at the committee level, so that they compare it with his own preliminary comment that he has added and what he is now seeking the clerk to add. So, Mr. Speaker, I indicated to the clerk that once what he is seeking to be added is not part of the preliminary comment that he said we should include in the report, that should not be added. Mr. Speaker, to what extent, as the chairman of the committee, will I indulge the minority leader and the ranking member of the committee? So, Mr. Speaker, the report is ripe to be taken, and it should be laid. In life, honesty is the best policy. It is the truth that will make all of us free. I wasn't the only one at the meeting. Both majority members and the minority members were at the meeting. Mr. Speaker, so long as you said they should take the conclusion from your preliminary issues that you have raised, and what you are seeking to do now is not part of your preliminary comment. It's not an issue before the committee. So why should it be indicated? Mr. Speaker, let me also place on record that I have read committee's report, including appointment committee's report. If a decision is taken or you have voted no, you don't do justification in the report. In this house, when we take a decision by voice vote, do we indicate justification in the report? If you take decision by head count, do we indicate decision in the report? If you take decision by voting, do we indicate why you have voted no and why you have voted yes? So, Mr. Speaker, we are setting a very bad precedent. This House is setting a very bad precedent. All that I have seen to be happening is that the report is by a majority decision. That is all. When you are on your feet and you want to justify why the report should be a minority decision, then a majority decision, then you can make your submission to justify why you have voted in the way the report is. But to say your justification should be part of the report, Mr. Speaker, is very novel, and I'm seeing it for the first time. However, we have indulged him, and the report has captured the same. Mr. Speaker, I humbly submit.
Yes, in your contribution, kindly also address when the proceedings of the committee ended. When you were considering the judges, when did you end the
decision of the committee ended at the 10th floor committee room. Mr. Speaker, for the time, unless I rely on the clerk, the exact time that it has ended.
The hearings, when
Yes.
did you conclude the hearings? The hearings of the committee?
The vetting of the report or...
The public hearing?
Yes, Friday.
Friday?
Yes.
Friday, okay.
Mr. Speaker,
yes. That's okay.
Mr. Speaker, by Wednesday, we had done 6 judges, and the report on the 6 judges were ready and distributed for our comment. So, Mr. Speaker will recall that whilst we are in your office, we started going through the reports. So, Mr. Speaker, on Friday, it was only one judge that was vetted owing to a petition that the committee has addressed. So, for me, what was left was the consideration of the report of the single judge vetted on Friday. And Mr. Speaker, when the report of the single judge was produced, copy was given to the minority leader, and in minority leader's own handwriting, he made comments that comment should be integrated. And Mr. Speaker, that comment was integrated.
Yes,
and
yes.
because it was in his own handwriting.
First Deputy Speaker, yes, we heard you on that one. So let me listen to the Deputy Minority Leader. I think you are a member of the committee.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would agree with both contributors that we had a discussion on the report. And at a point in time, we came up with suggestions as to the format in which the report was to be taken. after a series of questions from the Honorable Deputy Minority Leader, we all agree that yes, what the Honorable Minority Leader is indicating must be incorporated in the report. But before dispersing from the meeting, there was a clear understanding that after inserting the preliminary comments and the suggestion that was written,
Honorable members. Yes, honorable members, we all heard her. Please.
Honorable.
Yes, please continue.
The minority leader pleaded, and it was accepted, that after the incorporation of the suggestions in the report should be reverted back to him, and then he will have a last look at it, and then be ascertained that it is the full capture of what he indicated before it is signed and accepted by all of us. I'm here to learn that even though the minority leader, whatever he wrote was incorporated, it was never sent back to him. It was sent back to him. He made an input. He made an input correcting a statement that was not right. So once he has made that input, I believe that we all agree that it is only when all these things are corrected before it can be signed and presented for laying. So, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to beg of you. I think we are all trying to build consensus in everything that we do. Dialogue is the most important thing. We have dialogue with the chair, and if he is not going to agree to what we are suggesting, it is not a right position of the minority, and therefore it is very important that what we want to express out there must be clearly stated. So I would like to plead with you, Mr. Speaker, that give us a little more chance to go through the report again, and then by the agreement of the committee members, that we will represent on the floor. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, I don't think we have to continue this exchanges. It's not a debate, but we are governed by rules. And Order 215 gives us an indication of how reports of committees should be not only adopted by the committee, but also presented to the House. And 215 says that the deliberations and recommendations of a committee shall be presented to the House in the form of a committee, of a report. Honorable Dr. 2152 says, the committee shall consider and adopt the report prior to the presentation of the report to the House, and the report shall be signed by the chairperson and the clerk to the committee. With specific reference to the Appointments Committee, 21711 says the committee shall report to Parliament within 3 days after the conclusion of proceedings of the committee when Parliament is sitting. Honorable members, please, when you are dealing with serious matters of this nature, you don't keep on conversing as if you are in the market square. Please. After listening to the information from the members of the committee, the chair, the ranking, and a senior member, the deputy minority leader, I think some of what you refer to I'm aware of. Because you even sought my assistance in some of these matters in my conference room and went through them together. We thought we had settled them. Now they are being rehashed. I don't think that is proper. When we are talking about a report of a committee, we are talking about the whole committee. We are not talking about individuals inserting things to suit their understanding of a report of the committee. Whatever you have to say, you can say it here on the floor as part of your contributions to the deliberations of the House. I will give you enough time to say it. We cannot expect the report to capture everything. Please, you will not be prevented from saying what you want to say. But when we talk about the report, we are talking about the report capturing the decision of the whole committee. That is what we are looking at. So please, I think the report is properly before the House, and it will be presented, and it will be taken by this House today. So please, Chairman of the committee, you may proceed to do so now.
Report of the Appointments Committee on His Excellency the President's nominations for appointments as Justices of the Supreme Court of Ghana.
Honorable members, the report of the Appointments Committee has been presented to the House. It's now for distribution to all members of Parliament. Yes, any other business?
Mr. Speaker, we will take motion number 11, which is, it's not a motion, Mr. Speaker. Item 11, which is presentation and first reading of bills and some communication from the Minister for the Interior. Item 11, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, item 11, presentation and first reading of bills, public holidays and commemorative days amendment bill 2025. Minister for Interior.
An act to amend the Public Holidays and Commemorative Days Act 2001, Act 601, to provide for Shark Day and the first day of July as statutory public holidays and for related matters.
Honorable members, the Public Holidays and Commemorative Days Amendment Bill 2025 has been presented to the House and referred to the Committee on Interior, and I will add Defense and the leadership of the Committee on Constitutional and Legal Affairs. They are already part of it. Yes, Committee on Defense and Interior with leadership of the Committee on Constitutional and Legal Affairs. Yes, I can see the Minister on his feet. Majority Leader, let me listen to the Minister first.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I had indicated to your good servant, the leadership, that this was to be taken under certificate of urgency. And I thought that when the leader was sorting the permission for me to lay, he would have indicated or given me the opportunity to do so. So I wanted to draw your attention that this was an urgent bill that needed to go to certificate of urgency through all the stages today. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
You may need to convince us why it's an urgent bill.
Mr. Speaker, yes. Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Minority Leader, what is it on? Just a minute, just a minute. Yes, let me listen to him, whatever it is. Let's listen. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, with respect, the application was made and the paper was duly laid. The referral was made to a committee that brought a closure to that application. Mr. Speaker, the minister now gets to his feet to direct government business and to make a suggestion that the leader of government business should have proceeded in a certain manner. He is one person who has been talking about rules, that we should be guided by our rules. Mr. Speaker, he got up to now attempt to direct affairs without reference to any rules. Mr. Speaker, they are against certain precedents being set. If there is a new precedent that after a paper has been laid, the minister can now come through back door to make an application that the leader of government business should have incorporated certain things in his application, and that was not done, so he is now moving it. Mr. Speaker, let that precedent become part of this house, because Mr. Speaker, this is a minister who is on record to have insisted on the rules. Mr. Speaker, he must comply with the very rules that he insists must be complied with.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the rules are very clear that bills presented to this House must be gazetted. When the bill is not gazetted and it is presented to this House, it is clear indication that it is coming as an urgent bill. It is. The rules are clear. The rules are clear. Mr. Speaker, let me read the standing orders. Let me read the standing orders. Let me read the standing orders. Let me read the standing orders, Mr. Speaker. Let me read the standing orders. Order 159. Presentation of bills and gazette notification. Subject to the Constitution and except as provided for in Order 160 and 162, a bill shall not be introduced in the House unless the bill has been published in the Gazette at least 14 days before the date of the introduction of the bill. Then 160 says that the sponsor may submit a bill to Parliament without publication in the Gazette where the sponsor of the bill considers the bill to be of an urgent nature. To the extent that he has not published it in the Gazette, he intends that it comes as a bill which is of an urgent nature. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, our rules provide for any person laying a paper after the paper has been laid to then make a statement explaining. And that was what I was expecting, that after he had laid the bill, then he will now mention that it is of an urgent nature because it has not been gazetted. Then we will now refer it to the committee. Mr. Speaker, the reason why, the fact that it has been referred to a committee doesn't mean that the committee is not supposed to exercise its responsibilities under Order 160. The committee, in considering it, will also have to come provide an explanation why it is urgent. But Mr. Speaker asks a question. Why is it urgent? It is urgent because it is meant to regulate public holidays. And we have a public holiday coming in a few days' time, Mr. Speaker. In a few days' time. In a few days' time, Mr. Speaker, and that is why we need to have this bill taken under a certificate of urgency so that the law can be in place for us to be able to enforce the public holiday which is coming in a few days' time, Mr. Speaker. So I urge you, Mr. Speaker, to refer it to a committee under Order 160 so that it will come up with a report and then we'll take it under a certificate of urgency. Mr. Speaker, those are my submissions.
Motion moved and seconded. It's a procedural motion, so I put the question. Those in favor of the adoption of the motion say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The motion is carried. We now move to the substantive motion, item 1.3 on the order paper. Chairman of the committee.
Right Honorable Speaker, I rise to move the motion number 13 at page 6 of today's order paper, that this Honorable House adopt the 15th reports of the Appointment Committee on His Excellency the President's nomination for appointment as Justices of the Supreme Court of Ghana. Right Honorable Speaker, in doing so, I present the Appointment Committee's report. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee following your referral on 20th day of May 2025, and after following and complying with the requirement of the law, vetted the law, particularly Standing Order 217 and Article 144, proceeded to vet all the 7 judges. And it is after vetting that the committee's report is being presented for adoption by the House. I first of all urge the entire House to unanimously adopt the committee's report. Mr. Speaker, I also urge on the Hansard Department to capture the entire report as having been read, as I touch on some salient questions that the judges responded to, and then read the conclusion of the report. The Speaker, starting from questions posed to Justice Senyo Jamape, he was asked his view on the doctrine of separation of powers, which he answered eloquently. He was also asked the innovations that would improve on justice delivery in Ghana. Another question is about the independence of the judiciary and suppressing of investigative journalism to protect the dignity of the judiciary. The image of the judiciary was also asked on the rule of constitutional interpretation applied by the nominee. Was also asked the importance of cyber security in Ghana's legal education. Another question was reintroduction of the public tribunal system. There was also a question on asset declaration by the judges, deportation of foreign illegal minors, gender parity in the judiciary, extension of retirement age of Supreme Court judges, maintaining judicial ethics, view on spousal property, conflict between foreign and domestic investment laws, modernization of legal education, establishment of Northern Bench, The nexus between the rule of law and economic development, views on justice delay is justice denied, significant judgment of the nominee, reform in legal education, and then the 2015 World Cup, among others, judicial transparency, Xposed court issues, issues of democratic theory and constitutional purposes, building trust in the judicial system, judicial ethics, the agency of accountability, among others, were asked. The Speaker, at the end of the day, the recommendation of the committee on him was by a majority decision. As our friends from the minority have all voted against the nominee. The Speaker, the next nominee is Justice Sir Dennis. The Speaker, I must commend him about the scholarly manner in which he lectured the committee. Questions were posed to him about the limited access to legal education in Ghana, diminishing trust in the judiciary, abolition of the death sentence, establishment of separate constitutional courts, human dignity and criminal justice, challenging parliamentary decisions in courts, contribution to children's rights and gender equality, criminalizing child marriage and witchcraft accusations, ensuring gender parity in the judiciary, environmental protection, constitutional amendments, automation of courts, judicial dress code in Ghana's courts, tax obligations, nominees' honorary position, nominees' legal education and qualifications, retirement age for Supreme Court judges, the nominees' view on judicial precedent and legal interpretation, functions of the Judicial Council in appointment of Supreme Court justices under Article 1442. Mr. Speaker, several questions were posed to him, and eloquently he provided the answer. Right Honorable Speaker, third in line is Justice Simon Suribari. Questions were also posed to him on the bribery and corruption in the judiciary, investigative journalism in exposing corruptions, proposal for consideration by the Constitutional Review Commission, extension of the retirement age of the Supreme Court judges, partisanship of the composition of the Supreme Court, public disclosure of assets by judges, balancing cultural norms with international regulations, particularly LGBTQ+, achieving gender equity in the judiciary, efforts to empower the youth to pursue legal education, key principles on compensation of victims, establishment of an independent judicial commission, inadequate number of judges in the northern part of Ghana, the reintroduction of the public tribunal system, capping of the number of justices of the Supreme Court, tagging of the judiciary. The Speaker, among others, were posed to the judge nominee. He has also delivered very eloquently. The Speaker, once the Hansard Department will capture the entire report, let me stop by stating the questions posed to Brian Philip. Let me conclude by mentioning the questions posed to Justice Philip Bright Mensah. The first question posed to him was judicial threats. sufficient power in protecting judicial independence, optimum number of the Supreme Court judges, premium placed on judicial service, gun ownership in Ghana, doctrine of separation of powers, recommending judicial reforms, curbing the menace of galamsey, professional obstacles as a judge, among others. Mr. Speaker, the Hansard Department should capture the rest, and I will proceed to read the recommendations and the conclusion of the House. The committee recommends to the House by majority decision Mr. Speaker, let me just go straight to the conclusion. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, the committee, acting in accordance with the provisions of Article 1442 of the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana and Standing Order 217 of the House, duly examined the 7 nominees submitted by His Excellency the President for appointment to the Supreme Court of Ghana. Upon careful deliberations, the committee knows that all the nominees demonstrated outstanding competence, deep knowledge of the law, and a firm grasp of the judicial ethics. They addressed questions posed by the committee with professionalism, clarity, and intellectual rigor, reflecting their capacity to uphold the independence, integrity, and dignity of the highest court of the land, the Supreme Court for that matter. The committee is satisfied that the nominees possesses the requisite qualifications, judicial temperament, and commitment to constitutional values expected of justices of the Supreme Court. Mr. Speaker, all members of the New Patriotic Party minority were opposed to and voted against all the 7 nominees, the justices of the Supreme Court, on the grounds that, 1, the appointment of 7 new justices was inconsistent with the suspension of the Chief Justice, stating that it was not about filling vacancies but reshaping the constitutional order. As to how this has got to do with the vetting, your guess is as good as mine. Right Honorable Speaker, the second reason was that the Supreme Court abdicated its constitutional duty and remained silent when fundamental principles of natural justice were being violated. Mr. Speaker, the third is that the NDC had previously proposed the nomination of the 2 justices, citing judicial bloats. Hence, Mr. Speaker, the minority decision in opposing and voting against all the 7 nominees, the members of the National Democratic Congress majority, however, voted in favor of all the nominees. The committee therefore recommends to the House by majority decision the adoption of this report and the approval of Justice Senyo Jamope, Justice Sir Dennis Dominic Adjei, Justice B.L. Simon Turibari, Justice Philip Bright Mensah, Justice Gina Pare Ejua Batescujo, Justice Hafizata Amaliboba, Justice Kweku Tewia Akabofo. The committee respectfully submits this report for the consideration and approval of the House. Right Honorable Speaker, I so submit.